Hi, scholars. Mr. Shaw here again for our Henry Johnson Charter School remote art classes. Whether you're joining me at home or you might be watching this in your classroom today, we're going to be talking about something really exciting. We're actually going to be talking about how hair, your hair, can actually be a form of art. Now, typically we don't think of our hairstyle as being a type of art, but all of us take some time to take care of ourselves, to make sure that our hair looks a certain way. Some of us like the direction that our hair moves in. Some of us like the shape that it makes when you see it from the side or from the front. Some of us add colorful rubber bands or beads or barrettes in our hair to make it more exciting or interesting to look at. Boys, I see you coming into school a lot of times with those designs shaved into the sides of your head when you get that fresh haircut, when you get that edge up, and it makes you feel good and it looks good. But some of the same things that make a haircut a good haircut or a good hairstyle are some of the same things we look for when we're creating interesting pieces of art. Take a look at this haircut. Now I really love this design on the back of this young man's head because I could see this as a drawing. I could see this as a painting in a museum, but this young man gets to wear that wonderful design on the back of his head. And that drawing, that carving of hair on the back of his head follows the same rules as a lot of art we've already done this year. I see a pattern of lines and shapes. I can tell that that artist used different lengths of hair to create different values. Some areas look really light, like those crisscrossing lines. Some areas look very dark, where the hair was left kind of long. And some of those areas are kind of a value in between. They're not too light and not too dark. And there's a lot of different ways that hair can be styled that could be considered an artistic way. Maybe it's a carving in the side of your head, or maybe it's the way that your hair has been colored. Perhaps it has beautiful, gorgeous colors inside of it because it's been dyed, or maybe you've added things to it. Now, hair as a form of art is not something that you're going to see in museums a lot. And while there have been a lot of hair designers over the years who have made a big difference in the way that hair is thought of, I can't think of anyone more important to the existence of hair as an art form as an inventor, actually. And she's not an artist per se, but more of a scientist, and her name was Madam C.J. Walker. Now, if you're a history buff like I am, you may have heard of Madam C.J. Walker as being one of the first Black millionaires in the United States of America, and she was definitely one of the wealthiest women from the turn of the century in the early 1900s. Now, Madam C.J. Walker was a Black woman who was born in the late 1800s, so we're talking over 100 years ago, and she had a very big problem that she noticed in the world, in that there weren't a lot of hair care products for African American people. For those of you who are Black might know that your hair reacts a little bit differently than my hair might to water or to products. And the products that were available weren't really made for Black people's hair. And Madam C.J. Walker wanted everybody to look good, wanted everyone to have a beautiful artistic hairstyle. So she invented a line of products that were made specifically for that kind of hair. And because that product existed, a lot of people were able to experiment more with their hairstyles. And a lot of the hairstyles we see now today in 2020 are the direct result of those products being available over 100 years ago. So today, we're going to do something fun. We're going to put some of Madam C.J. Walker's hard work to work for us. Today, you're going to have the opportunity to design some hairstyles. Now, these could be some hairstyles that maybe you would like. They could be hairstyles that you think are very fashionable or cool, or something that you would want to wear to a big party, or maybe to the red carpet if you were a movie star. Or you could get really experimental and you could try out some different hairstyles, maybe that you would never do in real life, but you'd like to see on someone else. Those hairstyles could be kind of like this one, a beautiful hairstyle, maybe with hair going in different directions. Maybe there's some colored added in there. Maybe you'd like the hair to be very natural. Maybe you want your hair in the hairstyle you designed to just kind of grow and flow the way that it would if you didn't put a lot of product in it. Maybe you'd like your hairstyle to make a big statement, to have an impact. Maybe the shapes or the textures of the colors are really interesting. Or maybe that hair is long and flowing and adds an element of mystery, or maybe elements of a story to that hairstyle. This looks like a character in a movie or in a comic book. Sometimes hair can be silly or even look like something, like this hair artist has done to make her hair look like a dancing woman. It is all made of hair and has some bows and ribbons in it, but I think that's a really creative thing to do with your hair. So if you want to really reach out there and get creative with the hairstyles you design, there's no limit on what you can make. The hairstyles don't even have to be long hairstyles. Perhaps like this one, you'd like to design the carving or the shaving of the hair as it's growing close to the head, nice short haircuts. Maybe you'd like to add some rubber bands or ribbons or colored barrettes to your hairstyle. Maybe your hairstyle is a mix of short hair and long hair. Maybe your hairstyle could be complemented by a hat, or if you'd like to design some brightly colored clothing to go along with that brightly colored hair, you could do that as well. Some hairstyles even extend down into the face. I'm very concerned about how my beard looks from time to time, and that's part of my hairstyle. So like this Thor looking gentleman up here, you could also design hair that extends down onto the face, or you could design hair that looks very, very creative. Maybe it just comes down on the sides, and maybe it's shorter in other areas. It doesn't matter what kind of hairstyle you design. Maybe it's all about the hair, or maybe it's all about the accessories, what you're putting into the hair, like these beautiful seashells in these braids. Whatever it is you choose to design, whether it be flowers in your hair, or braids, or a short haircut, a long haircut, colored haircuts, I'd love to see the different kinds of hair colors you can design. Now, when I think about all the different ways that people can express themselves by their haircut or by their hairstyle, it also reminds me of some books that you might want to check out after you're done drawing these pictures. Some of my favorite ones that are all about the art of hair are books like this one. It's called Hair Love, and it was written by Matthew A. Cherry. Perhaps you've seen this book before. It's called Crown, an ode to the fresh cut, and it's by Derek Barnes, an excellent author. The illustrations in this book are fantastic. I always feel this way when I come out of the barbershop. Or one of my favorite books, a book called Naima's Hair Adventure, about the beauty of loving your own hair. And this book was actually written by our very own Miss Rockman. So if you see her down in the office, you can ask her about her book. And I think there's even a copy of this book down in the office if you'd like to take a peek at it. Whatever kind of hairstyle you do decide to design today, we're going to be doing that by using some templates. That means some blank copies that I've put in Seesaw for you. So you don't have to draw the people's heads today. You only have to design the hair. So stay tuned, and I'm about to show you how we can use those templates in Seesaw to design some artistic, some crazy, maybe some wild, but definitely some beautiful hair designs. Stay tuned. All right, scholars. Now that we've learned a little bit more about how hair and hairstyling can be considered an art form, let's do some hairstyling ourselves. You're going to be looking for the assignment that says Art, Hairstyling as Art, and then click that green Add Response button. I'm going to choose a sample student so I don't do any of your work for you. And when you open up that Seesaw page, you will already see some templates. That means kind of a blank picture that everyone gets to work on. This way, you don't have to use up any time drawing these kids' faces. You can just design the hair. Now, on our first page, if you see all the way over here, page 1, I've drawn a boy's head looking straight at us and looking to the side. Number 2, I've drawn some female faces, one looking straight towards us and one looking off to the side. I'm actually going to start here. I'd like to design this hair first. And I can do the same hairstyle looking at it from 2 different directions, or I could do one hairstyle on this head and one hairstyle on this head. It doesn't matter how many you do, or if they're all different or they're all the same. But feel free to experiment with this. You can try some totally different things. For instance, I think I'd like to do a hairstyle
that's purple. I really like the color purple. So on this head, I'm just gonna, I'm actually gonna get a slightly bigger marker, and I wanna make some purple hair that's kind of long and swishes off to one side. Now I want it to be really, really long on this one side, but I think I'm gonna have the other side be a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna draw that hair so it's kind of short over here, and then I'm gonna have it be really, really long on this side. In fact, I can have it come all the way down. It could come kind of like behind her ear a little bit, all the way down on her head. Now, that's a nice shape for the hair. I like the way that that looks, but it's kind of hard to see the direction that the hair is going in. So I can actually pick a slightly lighter purple, and then I could put some highlights in that hair so that we can see kind of which direction that hair is flowing in. So I'm just gonna, almost like I'm combing the hair with my mouse here, with my pen tool, and I'm just gonna kind of swoosh it down. And I think that's a really nice hairstyle. I like that purple. I like those swirls and those swooshes. Now, if I want to, like I said, I could do that same basic hairstyle on this side. So if she had that long hair and I was looking at it from this side, it would actually cover up a lot of that head. We wouldn't see the short hair on the other side. This time I'm starting with the lighter color, and then I'm actually going to choose a darker purple, and I'm going to add those streaky highlights using the opposite color. And it has kind of the same effect. These two pictures will look pretty similar. It'll look like the same haircut by the time I'm done. Now, if I want to, I could just leave the hair the way that it is. I think it looks pretty good. Or if I think this might look better, maybe with some beads in it, or with some barrettes, or maybe she's wearing a cute hat to go with her outfit. She could have a little tiny hat up here. That's part of the hairstyle. Anytime you put an accessory like a hat or barrettes or beads in your hair, that's part of the hairstyle. That's part of that little tiny piece of art. So if you'd like to add those kinds of things as well, you could absolutely do that. So I'm just going to give her a little pink hat to go with her purple hair. And I really like the way that that looks. So I'm going to leave that hair just like that. And now I'm going to switch over to page 1. And now I can design this boy's hair. And I can do anything I want with this. One of my favorite types of haircuts to draw, something I always wish I was brave enough to get myself, is a mohawk. So this gentleman over here on the left, I'm going to give him a nice punk rock mohawk look. I like the way that this looks with that green hair. Maybe it'll have some yellow highlights in it, some bright yellow highlights at the very, very top of his mohawk here. I think that looks pretty cool. I don't have to have a lot of details in this. Your hair can be as simple or as complicated as you'd like it to be. So I can have some of that yellow in there, and then I can also maybe add some darker green just to make it look a little bit more like real hair. And I think that looks pretty good for that. Now, if I did want to do some more interesting hair over on this side, perhaps this young man has, we'll give him some hair that looks kind of like this. Maybe a little bit of a flat top on top. I really like that flat top look. But then maybe on the side, I can design some shaving going into the side of his head. Maybe he's got some cool designs on that side, maybe some stripes like this. Maybe he even has a little swirl on there as it goes back around the back of his head. And I think that's a pretty nice looking haircut too. I think it looks pretty cool. It looks like he's ready to go to school and learn with his fresh new cut. So now I have 4 different hairstyles that I've created. A couple of female styles and a couple of male styles. And you can design your hair any way that you want. If you want to add some extra details to your characters, you're certainly welcome to. Maybe I'd like this guy to wear some sunglasses to go with his cool mohawk. That's totally fine to do if you want to add anything else. But I'm very, very excited to see what kinds of hairstyles you come up with and what types of, I guess, wearable artwork you can design. So make sure when you're finished, you click that green check mark all the way in the top right-hand corner, and I can't wait to see what you've designed. See you next time.